I'd like to start by offering my condolences to Lacey's family and friends. This is obviously an extremely difficult time for everyone who knew this couple. It's always a tragedy when someone chooses to take a life under any circumstances, especially when the death occurs at the start of Family Violence Prevention Month. I understand the public and the media have many questions about this case and our interaction with this couple prior to the homicide. I will make every effort to answer whatever questions I can. However, as you'll appreciate in this case, as this case is still before the courts, I'm limited into what I can say.
The mother had said that she feels the police failed her, but then there's other people who say, well, Lacey didn't really want help, that she just kept kind of going back into the situation. Can you shed any light on which way you feel about this?
What I can say is domestics are extremely difficult to deal with for a number of circumstances. We get 16,000 domestic calls a year. We have an incredibly comprehensive system. Are we always looking at improvements? Always. But our domestic conflict unit takes the most serious of those high-risk domestics, family violence situations. We prioritize those using a risk assessment form for the family. And we're currently managing 300 high-risk domestic situations. Those are included in the 16,000 calls we get every year. The reality is we're managing all the time that whole area around risk and around domestics, and we're always looking at ways where we can do better. What I can tell you is at this point in time, with the information that we have available, there were components that were being investigated, absolutely. Did it reach the threshold that it was one of the top 300? No, it did not. When our investigators said, look, you know what, it would help our investigation if you would hold off releasing information or not going to the media, it would make our job, our ability to do a comprehensive and thorough investigation that much better. At no time was there ever any indication or was there any effort to inhibit her ability to complain about the police. I mean, the reality is, if people choose to complain about actions of the police or if they have a concern, we're never going to discourage that. But what we will do is when there's an active investigation and information that's released through the media could have a detrimental effect or certainly influence the investigation, we will encourage people to please hold off until we can do our investigative part. Anytime there's a homicide, I want to make this point, anytime there's a homicide, the system is broken down somewhere. I don't care if it's a gang homicide, domestic homicide, if it's a child that's been killed, and you know we've had some of those. The reality is, in a perfect world, we'd like to be able to prevent all homicides. What I can tell you is when it comes to domestic relationships, domestic violence, we continue to look at new ways that we can provide a quality of service, recognizing that as we, the police, are part of the system, and that we require the immense support and cooperation we get from so many other agencies. And even in the education piece with families, letting them know what the risk factors are to help them identify when a family member may be involved in a relationship that's just unhealthy. So do we have a long ways to go? Absolutely. Until we eliminate these, we've got a long ways to go. Have we come a long ways from where we were? Yeah.